The process now is taking heavy pieces of machinery to remove some of the dangerous portions of the building and try to get an assessment of what is going on in there. When the fire erupted in this home behind me, Patricia had come out safely, but she went back inside, ran through the flames, ran through the rubble because she knew a man was still inside sleeping. He survived the fire, but she did not. The home of 2-year-old Thaddeus Saran is directly behind me along this alley. We haven't been able to reach his parents, and neither has Madera police since the day they reported him missing, which was last Wednesday. I can tell you the gunfire rang out very quickly, too quickly to tell how many shots were actually fired. And this happened in a pretty populated area. There's a neighborhood directly to the right and a taco shop behind where this deadly police shooting happened. While deaths involving cars are down by 2%, deaths involving trucks are up by 9%. As I'm walking through this parking lot, this thing is blowing up. You can see all the electronics that are near me. I showed a family shopping at River Park just how it could work. So we can click on, let's say, this iPad. It'll tell you how far away it is from you.
It gives you longitude and latitude?
Yeah.
Yay.
I don't like that.
I don't either. That's scary.
That low pressure weather maker that kept things capped in the 80s this weekend, well, we've now lost it to the East Coast, and high pressure is building back into our valley, and with it, triple-digit heat. And that's going to create a bit of a void, what's known as a thermal trough. It's kind of like a hole, and all the hot air is going to swarm the valley. We're also watching for things like this, a hook echo, which is the aftermath of some unsettled wind patterns, which could produce a funnel cloud and thus tornadoes. And if anyone has ever experienced a fire, you know what I'm talking about. Being close to flames can be extremely scary. Imagine being close to these flames under this circumstance. You've seen the lights and now you're pulled over. Well, now you know there are two things you need to be looking out for. A legitimate police vehicle is always going to have that red steady light, and the person behind the wheel, a real officer, is going to have a badge that clearly identifies him during a traffic stop. In Madera, I'm Kimberly Kolliner, Fox 26, your hometown news connection.
News back now with another update on tonight's breaking news out of Porterville. One firefighter dying in a library fire.
Another said to be unaccounted for. Now let's take you back out live to Porterville and check in with Fox 26, your hometown news connection reporter, Kimberly Kolliner. Again, Kimberly, what are you seeing? And this is still very much an active fire, even though it's more than 6 hours later, right?
It is, and it's so hard to believe that, Liz. 6 hours later, and there's still a glow. You can see the glow right behind me of these orange hues of the flames. They were louder and much more vibrant just a couple minutes ago even, and it's hard to imagine what these firefighters are dealing with. Obviously, a tremendous scene to walk into, and like I mentioned, when they first got on scene, that's their only thought was, look at the monstrosity of the flames that are around me and who potentially is in that library that essentially may not have been warned that there was even a fire going on. The building is extremely old, like we talked about, built in the 1950s, and the people trapped inside may not have known that the fire was going on. 18,000 square feet, that is the size of this building, and a lot of people to essentially evacuate. While we were talking to the people that were around here just watching this horrific scene unfold, many mentioned to us that this is the gem of the city of Porterville. This is where everybody comes. This is where the child's story time is told, where there's an adult center, where there's English as a second language learning facility. Everybody comes to the Porterville Library, and it's possible that there were a lot of people trapped inside. Like we know, the firefighter has died. The Porterville City firefighter has died. There's another Porterville City firefighter that is unaccounted for, and who is to say if there are more people inside that we just don't know about. And that's something that they'll have to uncover as soon as those flames are put out. It could be hours from now, unfortunately, Liz.
And Kimberly, you've been out there now for a couple of hours. I mean, it's heartbreaking for us to report something like this, but for you to be out there, I mean, the firefighters, this can't be easy because they have a job to do, but at the same time, they're doing this with very, very heavy hearts.
It's really a chilling feeling, Liz, like you said, to be out here and to be around these emergency personnel who are trying their best, who are doing everything they can to wrap up this fire, but knowing that one of their own has died in this fire. Can you imagine working through something like that, knowing that that has happened, but having to continue on in your work day. This is their job, and it is absolutely unthinkable to even begin to understand what they're going through.
There is such a stillness tonight. Now so many heavy hearts wandering around the library building.
There's tremendous heartbreak over the loss again of those 2 firefighters, and there is still so much appreciation for them. Fox 26, your hometown News Connection reporter Kimberly Kolliner kicks off our team coverage, and she spoke with a Porterville woman who was one of the last people to make it out of that burning building because of the bravery of firefighters and library staff. Kimberly?
So many contrasting scenarios, like you just explained. There is an eerie feeling of just stillness around the Porterville Library right now. So many different people walking by here, paying their respects, but just feeling this deep sense of sorrow and just lawlessness. It is unthinkable what happened here. But this woman says yesterday afternoon, it was just utter chaos. She was one of the last people to make it out of this building safely. She said had it not been for the bravery of those 2 firefighters and the staff at the library, well, she wouldn't be here today.
Those flames were fast and hot, and I feel so sorry.
Laura Ogus says she was in this building as flames started to burst from the windows.
She said when I didn't realize how serious it was till we came up front, that's when I realized how lucky we were.
Not everyone came out. Firefighter Patrick Jones and Captain Raymond Figueroa both gave their lives, so Ogus and everyone else who had no idea what was coming could keep theirs. The fire started on one side of this massive building. On the other side, things were seemingly normal. Ogus, for example, was working on a hat at her crochet club. There were no sprinklers, no sound of an alarm, but Ogus did hear something, and luckily it caught her attention.
I could hear somebody in the background yelling. She told me that we needed to get out. She goes, need to get out now. There's a fire in the building.
Ogus ran back into the room to tell the other members of the club about the fire, but for many of them, it wasn't as easy as just running out.
One walks with a walker, one walks with a cane.
Ogus ran out for help. She was able to get to police and firefighters that made sure they all got out safely, but they were the last. Firefighter Patrick Jones got separated from his team and died in the fire. Captain Raymond Figueroa also died fighting the flames. 2 incredibly brave heroes. The city of Porterville, all of us, mourn tonight.
We were blessed. We had our little guardian angels. We were blessed.
30 hours after this fire took over the Porterville Library, and there are still work lights up. Crews have been here for those 30 hours. The process now is taking heavy pieces of machinery to remove some of the dangerous portions of the building and try to get an assessment of what is going on in there. Like we know, the heartbreaking truth that we're facing right now is firefighter Patrick Jones is still unaccounted for. Liz.
And Kimberly, I'm sure one of the big issues is also structural integrity, because we know that the roof did come down. So at this point, they're trying to also make sure that it's safe for other firefighters to go in, so to make sure nobody else gets hurt.
100%. That is at the utmost importance right now. That's why strategy is key, and everybody is filtering in and out, trying to make sure whatever strategy they take when going inside is a safe one. It's just a heartbreaking scenario to even be faced with right now, but they're having to find a way to do it.
All right, and as we were saying last night, doing so with very heavy hearts. All right, thanks so much, Kimberly.
Fresno mother of 2 is putting her little ones to sleep tonight, not knowing if and when a man will break into her home again. In the last month, she's already gone through 3 burglaries, she says. Fox 26, your hometown News Connection reporter Kimberly Kolliner joins us live now from their home this evening. And Kimberly, I understand she's done a number of things to try and keep him out that have not worked so far.
Well, Monty, this certainly speaks to it. Every single window in this central Fresno home is now barred. And unfortunately, this isn't a precautionary action, but rather a reaction to being burglarized again and again in ways you wouldn't even imagine.
Who could ever know that someone could enter your home this many ways? First of all, I didn't know a window could be taken off the frame that easily.
Apparently, it can be, because that's how this guy has managed to break into Desiree Washington's house 3 times.
You can see how this is kind of curled. I think he put some kind of like tool in there.
That's the first window he went in through, which is now barred, but he didn't take the hint and just kept making his way around the house.
Second time he got in was last Monday. He came in through my other bedroom window, which is here.
And unfortunately, this wouldn't be the last window Washington would need to get barred. Just this past Saturday, another window break-in and another set of bars mounted on her home. In all these trips, this guy is caught on surveillance video coming in and out on foot, taking whatever he can carry, including a Sony camera, a TV, small electronics, and lots more.
I don't know what is even missing wholly, like when someone's come 3 times and taken bags of stuff out of your home. It's like he's so comfortable.
While Washington couldn't be more uncomfortable in her home.
I definitely am like targeted. It feels like he's watching me for sure, and he knows my car and to an extent knows my schedule.
The guy caught on surveillance video is absolutely brazen. He did these burglaries in the central Fresno home at 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the early evening while it's still light out. Washington has no idea why he targeted her home specifically, but looking at this crime map along central Fresno, all of the blue icons seen here are indicators of burglaries or car break-ins. We're also seeing assaults, weapons, as well as robberies, and those are seen by the red icons on this map. So Monty, it's really looking like it is a community-wide issue in the Tower District.